Hello everyone, I'm Slahilin. Today I'm going to talk about the culture of death and magic in Jamaica. Let's look at the content together. First of all, I will talk about the religion of Jamaica. Later, I will mention some of the Jamaica traditions. Then I will talk about the death and magic culture in Jamaica, and at the conclusion part, I will briefly talk about how death and magic are handled in our novel. Okay, let's start with the religion of Jamaica. Jamaica is a country that has hosted many religions due to the fact that it was a colonial country in its history. But people in the country have adapted these religions into their culture. Thus, they both kept the traditions of their ancestors and live in peace with the religions in which they felt more secure. As you can see in this chart, most of the people in the country are Christian. According to this chart, most of the people in the country are Christian. And another majority are from the Jehovah's Witness sect. But as I said before, these religions only cause a few small changes in their worship. For example, Christians are used the Bible in their rituals, or people whose faith is Rastafarianism are braiding their hair is an exclusive way, and people are called them deadlock. So the religions in this country sometimes affected the way people dress and sometimes their behavior. However, they have never caused a transformative effect on their culture. So what are some of the beliefs in Jamaica's culture? Let's look at them now. Jamaica is a culturally diverse and exclusive country, and this country has many significant heritages that make up people's culture. And inside this culture, there are some beliefs, music, clothing, food, and so on. However, I will not dwell on all of them. I will only mention some of its most common beliefs. In any case, the main element of Jamaican culture is their beliefs, and their music, food, dressing, dance, and many more cultures were born out of their faiths. The first tradition is a nine-night ritual. This tradition is a ceremony performed by Jamaicans to comfort their deceased relatives and to send them off on their last journey. And according to the African culture, there are three components of human, and these components are called the body, soul, and guppy, or shadow. And this ceremony is for the guppy part. In this ceremony, people aim to prevent the evil spirit of deceased from haunting their home or loved ones. And the ceremony usually starts at 8 or 9 p.m. and take place within 9 days after the death of a person. And this is because the people of Jamaica believe that it takes people 9 days to return to their true homeland. All rituals are performed sequentially in this ritual. Thus, the soul will go to its God in peace. Before the night is over, relatives present a dance show about the death of the deceased so that he or she can understand that they are dead. And people sing songs, hymns, and to them. And besides, the relatives of deceased change the places of the furnitures in the house to ensure that the guppy's house is no longer recognized. When the guppy is unable to recognize his or her home, it will no longer come there and haunt it. Also, people cover the mirrors in the house so that the soul is not trapped there. And in rituals, people prepare a dinner table for the ceremony on the night, but nobody is allowed to eat the food at the table until midnight. Because in Jamaica, it's believed that the ghost of the deceased will eat the food there until midnight and leave this world after the ninth day ends. Here, the first picture is rain stick, and the little ones, the second picture under it is egg shakers, and here the third picture is kajiji. The second tradition is kumina dances. It is the name given to the dance performed in the night rituals. It is formed by the combination of music and dance. The origin of the dance go back to African slaves who were brought to Jamaica. For the music, people generally use drums and shakers such as rain stick, kajiji or egg shaker. And with this dance, people aim to give messages to the souls. Or sometimes people do this dance just call them. While dancing, women and sometimes men wear colorful turbans on their heads and wear their traditional clothes. Although this dance is generally seen as a ritual of remembrance and celebration, it can also be associated with witchcraft or black magic by some people because the dancers lose themselves and act as if they're in a trance while they're dancing. And the third one is obeah. Obeah is a belief system and a form of magic that came into being with a union of many religions. Many people confuse obeah with voodoo, but unlike it, obeah is not performed by worship or rituals of a god. Obeah is an individual act. People generally use obeah to heal someone, to get a promotion, to make someone fall in love with them, or to get revenge on someone. And the white people in Jamaica saw the obeah as a threat, so they got the obeah banned. However, obeah is still used today in Jamaica. Deaf culture in Jamaica. Jamaica is a country with a great and rich culture, and the culture of this country, especially those related to funeral and burial, has been around for many years. Of course, over time, these cultures have somewhat fused with European cultures, but the traditions that were considered sacred to the people were never forgotten. Jamaica is a colonial country, as we know it, and the Jamaicans had been used by white people for years. All of them have become believing that and become people who do what their owners say, just like a zombie. So according to slaves in Jamaica, death is a kind of magic. I mean, it's a wonderful thing for them because they believe that when they die, they will get rid of their horrible lives and return to their real homeland. And this belief has brought them a tradition of celebrating after their death. When slaves die, they do not want their loved ones to cry after them. And because they think they would be able to live freely in their homeland. So much so that shedding tears on the dead's body in Jamaica is perceived as bad luck. And people think that the ghost would haunt the crying ones, the mourners. Also in Jamaica, people care about how people die. Believing that there is a life after death, Jamaicans would give some items to their deceased, depending on the cause of their deaths. For example, when people think that if someone died due to obeah or magic, let's say, they give her or him sharp tools or a broom tied with a white cloth to get her or his revenge. Here in the first photo, you see a baby being passed over the coffin. In Jamaica, babies are passed over the coffin 3 times, and this is because they believe that when they passed over the babies 3 times, they can prevent the ghost of the deceased from haunting them. Magic culture in Jamaica. Magic, which has been used for centuries, has served many people throughout the history in many ways, good or bad. And magic continued this service in the slave people of Jamaica and helped them in many matters. Even though these aids were good for some and bad for others, they somehow worked. The people of Jamaica have called these spells obeah and used them in many areas from health to revenge. However, the most important aim of these people in using magic has been to achieve their own independence. Obeah men made slaves recall their identities and caused them to revolt against their alleged owners. And the people of Jamaica used obeah or magic as a weapon against the real weapons of the whites. Even at those times, the obeah men were so important that even if they had many enemies, they were never betrayed or revealed in any way. Therefore, the whites were afraid of this power of the people and they prohibited the magic in the country. And they also imprisoned people who practiced obeah in the country. And the last part, death and magic in the novel, The White Sargasso Sea. Many times in the book, death has been given to readers with different meanings. Rice sometimes mentioned that death can be mentally, and sometimes she talked about the real death of a person. And people in Jamaica believe that people can be zombies. In fact, in Jamaica, it's believed that obeah can make zombies by resurrecting the dead. And in Jamaica, as I mentioned earlier, magic has been used as a means of rebellion, and what slaves lived in those times has been described by many literati as turning into the living dead. So the people in Jamaica are no different from zombies, and magic is really brought them back to life. Thanks to obeah, the slaves rebelled in their own ways and eventually they escaped from slavery. And Rice reflected this zombie idea to us in her book a bit differently. In the novel, Antoniette constantly talks about 2 types of death. as you know. One is actually a metaphorical death for her and I think for us. While talking to Rochester, she tells him that her mother died twice. Although the first death that she mentions here is a metaphorical death for us and for the readers, Antonietta actually embraced the zombie beliefs of the Jamaican people and actually unwittingly adopted many of these public beliefs. For example, believing that sleeping under the moonlight brings bad luck, or knowing that killing a parrot or seeing it being killed is a bad thing and it brings bad luck, or again believing that she can protect herself and her loved ones with a stick when she was a little girl. Those examples are little pieces of evidence of her adoption of these beliefs. John Rice mentioned the status of the people who cast this spell in society as much as she refers to the Obeah in this novel. And in the novel, Christophany, who is seen as a scare person for the white race, Christophany practices black magic and for vice, of course, and she's an evil and dangerous person who harms people. But unlike the white people, the black population of Jamaica respects Christophany, even if they are scared of her. And since Rochester is a typical white person, he threatens Christophany with laws and prison. To sum up, in the novel, Rice literally presented us with the concepts of death and magic in Jamaica culture. So much so that Antoniette and Christophany also use the spell which is used by the people against expoliation against Rochester, and their purpose is to get rid of expoliation just like the others. Christophany fulfilled Antoniette's request for the magic to free Antoniette from Rochester abuse and to have Rochester see her as her true wife. And that's it. My presentation is done. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you like it. And thank you also for your patience. Thank you.